It is not the distance that keeps people apart, but lack of communication. Yes, indeed. The major advances in speed of communication and ability to interact took place more than a century ago. The shift from sailing ships to telegraph was far more radical than that from telephone to email of wireless technology. Yet, Marconi is a man who is credited with the invention of radio. Days passed, weeks went. Ship-to-shore radiotelegraphy employed. A little later, radio phones were introduced in planes, but this was too late for World War I. Radio phones made a huge difference in World War II. Planes, tanks, and field communication were via backpack radios and walkie-talkies. Your cell phone isn't really a telephone. It's a radio transceiver or a radio telephone. It's more like a full duplex walkie-talkie with better signaling capabilities.
1G. The main technological development that distinguished the first generation mobile phones from the previous generation was the use of multiple cell sites and the ability to transfer calls from one site to the next as the user traveled between the cells during a conversation. The first commercially automated cellular network was launched in Japan by NTT in 1979. In 1984, the Bell Labs developed a modern commercial cellular technology which employed multiple centrally controlled base stations, each providing service to a small area. The cell sites would be set up such that the cells partially overlapped to each other. In a cellular system, a signal between a base station and a terminal only need to be strong enough to reach between the two, so the same channel can be used simultaneously for separate conversation in different cells. 2G. In 1990s, the second generation mobile phone systems emerged, primarily using the GSM standard. These 2G phone systems differed from the previous generation in their use of digital transmission instead of the analog transmission, and also by the introduction of advanced and fast phone-to-network signaling. The rise in the mobile phone usage as a result of 2G was explosive. The second generation introduced a new variant to communication as SMS testing became possible, initially on GSM networks and eventually on all digital networks. Today, in many advanced markets, the general public prefers sending text messages to placing voice calls. 2.5G. 2.5G using GPRS technology is a cellular wireless technology developed in between its predecessor 2G and its successor 3G. GPRS could provide data rates from 56 kilobits per second up to 115 kilobits per second. It can be used for services such as wireless application protocol access, multimedia messaging service, and for the internet communication services such as email and World Wide Web access.
Before Subhadev is going to explain the 3G technology. As the use of 2G phones become more widespread and people began to use the mobile phones in their daily lives, it becomes clear that the demand for data services was growing. Furthermore, if the experience from the fixed broadband services was anything to go by, there would be a greater demand for even greater speeds. The 2G technology was nowhere up to the job for the use of packet switching rather than circuit switching for data transmission. The high connection speeds of 3G technology enabled to begin looking to data optimized 4th generation technology with the promise of speed improvements up to 10-fold over existing 3G technologies. It is basically the extension in the 3G technology with more bandwidth and services offered in 3G. The expectation for 4th generation technology is basically the high quality audio or video streaming over end-to-end internet protocol. The first two commercially available technologies built as 4G were
5th generation mobile networks or 5th generation wireless systems, abbreviated 5G, are the proposed next telecommunication standards beyond the current 4G standard. 5G planning aims at higher capacity than current 4G, allowing a higher density of mobile broadband users and supporting device-to-device, ultra-reliable and massive machine communication. 5G research and development also aims at lower latency than 4G equipment and lower battery consumption for better implementation of the Internet of Things. This is the history of cellular communication. We have seen the past, present and future status of cellular communication in this video. Thanks for watching.